Hello, my name is Jeremy Lewicki. I'm the founder of LATT SEO, and I work with e-commerce brands and e-commerce companies to help them generate more sales and organic traffic from Google search or SEO. And what I want to do in this video is go through and look at Parachute Home and review their site from an SEO perspective to see if there are any things they can be doing better to improve their optimization, likely rank better, generate more traffic, and sales. First thing to do is look at this tool here called Ahrefs. And there's so many different data points in here, but the two big ones I like to look at first are referring domains and DR. A referring domain, if you're unfamiliar and if you have not watched one of my videos, is a unique instance of a different website on the internet linking to whatever site we're looking at here. And the reason we look at these is because Google views referring domains as votes of confidence. When a different site that's trustworthy, high-powered, and authoritative links to you, Google sees that and associates your site in that same category, which is generally a positive thing. Also, as you get more links, your DR or domain rating tends to increase as well. And DR is on a scale of 0 to 100. And while it is not an official ranking factor by any means, it does give us an idea as to how strong or how authoritative a site is, and then lets us know how difficult a keyword or phrase is likely to be to rank for once we look at the sites that are ranking for a given keyword or phrase. So, that being said, let's look at some keyword data here for Parachute and see what's going on. So, this is the keyword chart, shows all keywords and phrases their site is ranking for. You can see 112,769. Now, this data set is extremely large to filter through and to figure out what's going on. So first thing I like to do if we're looking to optimize for a collection or a product is to do a filter here to remove any content that you do a quick search here. You can see there's a lot of blog content in here. So blogs or articles or helps or things like that. And I'm using the plurals there, but sometimes that's how the URL structure is set up. So we'll filter out any URL containing blog in this case and see what happens. So we filter this to not contain the word blog. And now we're down to 29,841, so a little bit more manageable. But from here, we can start to see what's going on and look at some different product key phrases here to see how we can improve these. Because something like duvet covers here, this line, 65,000, let me zoom this in a little bit more for you. 65,000 searches per month here, and they're ranked at number 51, so they're getting estimated 0 traffic for this key phrase to this page. And if we look at just a quick look at this, so this is the product page for them that's actually ranking better, but a $300 price point is a significant potential in terms of new revenue for them if they could rank well. Now let's look at the search results for this and see what's going on. First thing to look at just from a high level is the DR column here. I like to look and see if it makes sense for Parachute to even be in the competition here. And they have DR 74. So we have IKEA 91, Boll & Branch at 69, the company store 66, 91, 68, 82, 60, 74, 48. So to me, it makes sense that they could compete. They're actually higher than the number 2 result. So it makes sense from that perspective that they could be in this competition based on just their DR alone. Now, other thing to think about is as you're building a keyword process and a keyword plan for ranking your site, is thinking about user intent for a search. So if somebody's searching for duvet covers, chances are they want to see more than one option, which is potentially one of the reasons why we have Boll & Branch has a collections. So if we look at this page for Boll & Branch, it is not an individual product page that they have ranking for this key phrase. They're ranking for their collection page for this. And if we look here at Parachute, their best ranking page for this key phrase here is an individual product. They do also have their collection ranking, and this is what I would recommend optimizing for the key phrase duvet covers. So next thing to look at then would be the page itself to see what else is going on and what should be done on this page, because this is in general a nice looking page, clean, well organized, easy to navigate, and more information at the bottom here. So what I like to do is look at Surfer SEO, and I've shown this in a number of videos here. If you're unfamiliar, essentially what we do is we put a key phrase in here like duvet covers, then we put the URL of the page we are attempting to optimize and improve for this key phrase. And what Surfer SEO does is gives us a list of and a recommendation and a recommended range from the top 5 ranking sites in Google for this key phrase, and lets us know what essentially we should be doing from an on-page optimization perspective in terms of content, keyword density, H tags, things like that. And the first thing to look at is keyword density. So we have duvet covers here. It's recommended to have it 3 to 8 times on the page. Parachute has it 6. Duvet cover 7 to 32. They have it 14. Duvet insert, which would be a separate key phrase, but they do have some content at the bottom of the page with that. And then we have some key phrases that don't make sense. Organic cotton. So again, I always use this as just a general idea to see if something like duvet covers is way off, but also I always take these types of data points with a grain of salt, because sometimes there are extra things in here that don't make sense for this page, or you have Visit West Elm, for example, would make no sense for them, but just gives us a general high-level idea as to what's going on. Now, some of these other data points, though, are much more telling and give us a solid picture as to what the other competing websites have on their site. So if we look at the number of words in the body and the content, again, taking all of these with a grain of salt, because the company store is largely skewing this data set, and Parachute actually has about as much content as Brooklinen, more than Pottery Barn, and about the same as Boll and Branch. So from that perspective, I wouldn't necessarily recommend adding 6,000 words of content in this case to match the company store, because they have more content than the top 3 sites ranking above them. Now, next thing to look at then would be H1s. So an H1 tag is, in general, the primary topic or primary title of the page, and then you use H2s and H3s and other content structures to explain what's on the page, whether that be product info or collection info, or if it's a blog post or a help article or something like that, explain the process and what the article is about. But in this case, you can see, aside from Pottery Barn, every one of the top 5 sites has at least one H1 with the exact keyword in it, and Parachute has that 0 times. Next thing to look at would be to replace a partial keyword with an exact and an H1. So again, all of these sites have at least one partial H1, and Parachute does not have it at all. Now here is where it gets pretty interesting. Add one H1 element including exact keyword. All sites have that except Parachute. And if we go to Parachute and we look here, you would think this duvet covers here is an H1. So if we do an inspection to see actually what style it is and what type of heading it is, it's actually an H2. You can see here barely, it's pretty small. But if I hover over this again with inspect, you can see the text right below where the cursor is now, underneath the D, it's H2. So basically what they're telling Google is there is no H1 in this page, and if we look at Google's developer guidelines for content for the headings and titles here, Google recommends a unique level 1 heading, H1, for each page, and only use a level 1 heading once on a page. So we've seen cases where multiple H1s are on a page and it can rank, but it's going to be more confusing and more difficult to rank if you don't have that H1 in place. So this would be a massive opportunity and a relatively easy test to just change this to an H1 and see how that impacts rankings in and of itself, because that is something that should absolutely be on the page. And that is basically it. That's what I would look at initially from a high-level view, just to do a quick audit for something like Parachute Home to see, are there any cases where they can optimize their site better, rank better, and if that is the biggest change they need to make to start getting some additional results, that would be a huge win for them. So hopefully this video provided you some value, and if it did, I would love if you could subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.